I'm Heather Ferguson, and you have found a Sonar Moment.
I'm a hippie, corporate hippie.
We're aware of the risks, but we're willing to ignore them for the moment.
I don't have to be the smartest guy in the room.
That a complaint is actually a request.
It's the Sonar Moment, a monthly interview with CEOs from the Pacific Northwest. We're here at the beautiful Alex Goulden Hall in Victoria, Canada, and it's summer. And once again, we're talking startups. I'm here with Tish Hill, CEO of Semadic, and we're going to try and get into the mind of a serial entrepreneur and see just what's happening. Tish, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you, Heather. It's a pleasure to be here.
So let me just clarify for everybody then. Semadic is actually an umbrella company for your first project, which is Digit, right?
That's correct.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about both of those?
Well, really, Digit is our first brand in Canada that embodies a lot of the technology and the thinking and the innovation that we have at Semadic. And because we're hoping to expand beyond Canada, we may find that we use brands that are different in different parts of the world because what we're doing is very local. And so we want to make sure we appeal to the local communities wherever they are. And sometimes an umbrella brand doesn't achieve that.
So tell me a little bit about Digit and what it is you're hoping to achieve with that.
Well, there seems to be a real appetite for community-based content and building on relationships. So Digit is really a combination of what is happening in the real world and communities and moving that as much as makes sense at this time online. So in the case of communities, there's a lot of information that's going back and forth in the sense of just events and happenings, but there's also a lot of commerce that happens. And in fact, 80% of our commerce happens locally. And so Digit is really is formed as a marketplace to create a platform where all of that can happen. We wanted to prove the concept in one community, and we chose Victoria for several reasons. But our goal obviously is to be able to replicate this across Canada, and we've got the precursor to that in place already in the sense that we have 74 sites that are all branded based on that community. So Digit Guelph, Digit Kingston, Digit Charlottetown, this type of thing. So that's in place now, and over the next, probably in about 60 days, we'll be starting to promote in those other communities as well.
This is not your first startup, right?
I am a repeat offender in the startup space.
So a recidivist, I think that's the... So tell me, I want to spend some time now just trying to talk about the itch, the entrepreneurial itch. What is it? When did you first feel it? When did you first think, that's me, that's what I want to do?
You know, it's just in the DNA. I think I was about 12 years old when I started my first business, and it was creating a little product. I put dried flowers into a little jar, and growing up back east, we had long, dark winters, and so this was an activity I would do in the evenings. And then I ended up making a relationship with a local craft store, and this lady took my little dried flower arrangements and sold them, and that was the first kind of commerce that I did. And I wasn't actually that interested in the money. That wasn't the motivating part. I think I was just excited about creating a product and actually having someone else be interested in purchasing that. It was very, very satisfying. So I started to look at using technology as the base for the product or service I was offering. And then a couple of, fate has it, I ended up in Seattle, and the internet was coming into fruition at that time. And I really felt this was an opportunity to offer, again, commerce-based as the platform to use the internet to create web pages and whatnot. So I started a company in Seattle in 1994 with my cousin Graham, who's was also from back east, but living in Vancouver at the time. And we provided services to Microsoft. So we built a lot of internet presence for Microsoft internally using internet technologies. And then Microsoft liked it so much that they started to bring us customers as well that were Fortune 500 companies. And we would build quite sophisticated web pages for them using Microsoft technologies. And the company grew from there and was acquired 2.5 years later. And so that started to bring some familiarity and some great education as far as mergers and acquisitions activity and whatnot, which was really valuable to me as well.
You're not just an entrepreneur, you're getting everything moving, right from the paper clips on the desk, if we still use those. What drives that? What's the role of passion there?
The passion is something you have to dig for, because boy, oh boy, it gets tiring and it gets really scary. And in watching some of your other interviews over the past few months, that was a theme I heard and resonated with me, is that sometimes you get scared and you have to just dig deep into yourself to find that passion. Because it's all about doing hard things that you care about. And it's really hard to bring the passion into something, at least in my experience, when I was fulfilling a management role with someone else's idea. It wasn't as fulfilling to me as when it was my idea, where, to your point, where it was really that aha moment when I thought, this is a fantastic idea because it's solving a problem for some people, and to me that is something, is a touchstone for me to be able to invigorate that passion again, is really feeling that it's something I own about making things better for people in some way.
Having to be comfortable with chaos, and comfortable with risk, basically, because you're constantly taking risks. How has that been your experience?
Yeah, that's it's an interesting thing, because I think most people, just by our nature, are risk adverse. And so it's one of those chromosomes that exists in the entrepreneur where you can manage risk and in a functioning kind of way, not only for yourself, but it's rarely that you're by yourself. You've got a staff, you've got people that are relying on you to deal with that risk and figure it out. And you have to believe in yourself as well. But with risk comes reward. So you have to feel that the reward is worth it. And in my case, not every entrepreneurial endeavor has been successful, but I feel that I have profited from it in every way. If it didn't work out, I learned something incredibly valuable, and I take all of those lessons with me. And so I'm willing to take that risk because the reward is always there. It just may come in different ways.
You know, it really is a team sport, isn't it? There's someone with the vision, somebody who's willing to execute and pull all of that together, but there has to be a team, and I'm sure also have a vision in many respects. How do you?
That is a very interesting thing, particularly, again, you know, there are layers to this. There's the entrepreneurial layer, starting a new business, which is then there's starting a technology business, and then there's the new technology that nobody knows where it's going to go. And in my case, that's my sweet spot. Yeah. So there are a lot of moving targets to that, and it attracts highly talented people who are also immensely creative and innovative, and they don't always play as a team very well. So, and they also need to be diverse. And in the case of what I do with web pages or building marketplaces and whatnot, not only is there technology side, but there's a very creative in the artistic sense. There's photographers and graphic artists, yeah. and so you really have a melange of people that all have to work together. And so you've got to find that universal thread that holds everyone together. And in my case, what I try to do is pull them together with their passion, their creativity, and also trying new things. I really reward failure, if that makes sense, because I really feel that what we're doing is experimenting, and often those experiments don't work. But you have to have the confidence to know that you know, 9 failures, 1 success. That 1 success is going to be extremely valuable and extremely rewarding. And so, if anything, I feel I have to really keep the team going to say, keep experimenting. Let's work together. Let's try new things. One person may be the lead on an idea from a creative perspective. Another in the next next idea may be more of a technology lead. Let's try some new code. Let's try something crazy, you know, that type of thing. So there's a lot of dynamics going on and a lot of layers.
But you're also providing a safe place, and all you're really saying is you got to keep on trying. That's what I'm really interested in, is that you keep on trying, and there's a safe place if it doesn't work.
Exactly.
Tell me a little bit about going out there and getting funded.
It's and I speak to the people that have done it before. It is a skill set unto itself, and it's a new one for me. And it really almost has nothing to do with your product or service or the innovation and all of that other aspect of your being and your creativity, because really you're almost leaving that all behind and you become a storyteller. And you need to have the investment community, and with startups they have to believe, they have to, because you're really not selling any real traction. You're selling people and an idea, and in some cases technology, but what you're not selling is a revenue base or a lot of typical things that investors will look for. So that immediately reduces the number of people you can talk to, and then from there they really have to buy into your vision, the team you've built, so that reduces that group even further. So it really is a process of elimination, and then, which everybody says, but it's also a two-way street. I've spent quite a bit of time in the typical meccas of venture capital in San Francisco and Seattle and whatnot, and as much as they are the ones that are in that shortlisted group, I also need to connect with them. You know, the raising of the capital is not the final stop. That isn't the success story. It's if you get to the point where you do have a successful transaction, then you've got to live with them after to fulfill the dream. And I'm looking for that partner that I'm nuts about spending time with as well. And so that's part of it. It really is a two-way street.
Tish, I'm just thrilled to have you in, and I'm thrilled to be talking about startups. Tish, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.